Ethan loved spending his summer vacations at his grandfather's countryside home. The vast fields, the fresh air, and the stories his grandpa told made his visit special. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Ethan turned to his grandfather and asked, "Grandpa, how do people become successful?" His grandfather smiled, stood up, and said, "Come with me, I'll show you something." They walked to the back of the house, where his grandfather had a small garden. He picked up 2 young trees from the table and said, "Today, we'll plant these." Ethan watched curiously as his grandfather carefully placed one tree in a clay pot and set it inside the house near a window. Then, he took the second tree and planted it outside in the open ground. After covering the roots with soil, he patted Ethan's shoulder and asked, "Which of these do you think will grow better?" Ethan thought for a moment and then pointed at the one inside. "This one, Grandpa. It's safe inside. No storms, no animals to harm it. The one outside has to face too many dangers." His grandfather chuckled. "Let's see," he said. Years passed, and Ethan grew older. One summer, he returned to his grandfather's home, eager to relive old memories. As they sat on the porch, he suddenly remembered their conversation from years ago. "Grandpa, do you remember when I asked you about success? You never really answered me." His grandfather smiled. "I did, but I think you're ready to understand now. Come, let's take a look at our trees." They walked inside, where the potted tree had grown, but it was still small and delicate. Then, his grandfather led him outside. Ethan's eyes widened in awe. The young tree they had planted in the open ground had transformed into a massive oak tree. Its thick branches stretched far and wide, its roots firmly gripping the earth, and it provided shade to everyone who passed by. Birds nested in it, and children played under its cool shade. "Now, tell me, which one grew stronger?" his grandfather asked. "The one outside," Ethan whispered, still amazed. "But how?" "It had to face storms, harsh sun, and so many obstacles." His grandfather nodded. "Exactly. The tree inside had protection, but it also had limits. It never had to fight for space, never had to dig its roots deep for water. It remained small because it never faced challenges. But the one outside had to struggle. The wind tried to bend it, so it grew stronger roots. The sun tried to dry it, so it learned to reach deep for water. The storms tried to break it, but each time, it only grew tougher. Every hardship made it stronger until it became this mighty tree you see today." Ethan looked up at the towering oak, understanding dawning in his eyes. His grandfather placed a hand on his shoulder. "Success is the same, my boy. If you always choose the easy, comfortable path, you'll never grow. But if you embrace challenges, learn from failures, and keep pushing forward, you'll become stronger than you ever imagined. The struggles you face today are not stopping you, they are shaping you." Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the lesson sink in. He knew now that every challenge in life was like the storm that made the oak tree stronger. So, whenever you face difficulties, remember, just like the tree, you are growing. Don't fear the storms. Face them, learn from them, and let them shape you into the strongest version of yourself. Keep growing. Keep rising. Your strength lies in the challenges you overcome.